legends, on this walk around, we've teamed up with Brent. This is one hell of a build. So the two of us are going to be going through everything that's packed into this brand new F350. Brent, what have we got in it today?
Mate, this is a special build. It's our first ever lift-off canopy we've ever done. So stick around and we'll give you a look.
So starting off with the platform. So this is a brand new 2022 Ford F350 Lariat model. So on the accessory side of things, starting up the front, we've done a Fab Fours matrix bar. We've also custom fitted a top hoop to fit into it. On the lighting side of things, on the bar, we've got a Steady STK3 31-inch light bar and an STK3 21-inch light bar. We've got a rumble winch along with the GME XRS pack. Now, the standard Lariat model in certain trims. Now, when you get into the F-Truck side of things, there is a million options that you can choose from the factory in the States. So this model actually came with all chrome. So chrome grille, chrome mirror caps, chrome door handles, all the accessories on the vehicle were chrome. So it went to Jared and the team at Fatal Effects for a full blackout kit. So everything has gone to satin black. It surely does change the vehicle. Now the front little quarters on the bull bar, we've got two of the Steady cube lights on each side, both a spot, which are hooked up to the fog lamp side of things. Just adds a bit more lighting at the front of the vehicle within that sort of 20 or 25 meter range. Moving around the corner.
All right guys, so we've got our bushwhacker flares. We've fitted up to the side of it. We've left these the standard black that they come to match in with the rest of the accessories like Jimmy said, or the matte black, satin black. Fuel rims with Razor tyres. These are 35-inch 12.5s. Moving back, we've got AMP electric side steps. Once again, one of my favourite things on all of our builds. Up top, we got a front runner roof rack with a front runner backbone. Now, on the F-Trucks, this is a super cab. Now, front runner don't actually make a roof rack to suit a super cab. So what we've done is we've got the dual cab one and we've modified it and chopped it down and re-powder coated it all to fit the super cab. Up top, we got a couple of sets of work lights. These are the little Steady, help me out, Jimmy.
7.8 inch.
7.8 inch little Steadies. Max Tracks up on top and 50-inch STK4 light bar up on top as well.
And even going back to the platform, so this is a super cab. Now, it's one vehicle that isn't commonly seen in Australia. If you open the back door there, you're basically a full US size platform with a flip up seat in the back. So the standard size or the amount of room in the back is exactly the same pretty much as a standard dual cab like a Ranger or what have you. So the extra cab or super cab platform, they call it in the States, is very popular for a touring vehicle because compared to mine, you end up 350 odd mil shorter overall in length. That's all, and that 350 mil less does make a difference when you're talking about driving a vehicle around town and parking it and things like that. So you still get the big donk, the massive payload. You can still fit 5 people in the vehicle, but it's not quite as big as a super crew cab like mine, that's all.
Just one other thing I did forget to mention on the side steps too. They're the same as the roof rack. They don't do them for a super cab, so we did have to modify the steps and chop the steps down as well and refit them all to suit the super cab. So if you are getting a super cab, these are things you need to keep in mind.
Yeah. The other thing too, we had issues trying to do long range tank for this vehicle.
Yep.
So unlike the super crew cabs or the dual cabs, you can get every accessory under the sun for them. So it was one thing that we struggled with this was trying to get a long range tank for it. So if you are looking at it, there's a few things to keep in mind. It is an awesome platform. Don't get me wrong, but there's a couple of things that you need to be mindful of when you are looking to build a vehicle like this. But at Core Off-Road, doesn't matter. If it doesn't fit, we'll make it fit. That's all. We'll come up with a solution for you anyway.
While we're on the accessories of this build, we've got our Bushwhacker 270 awning, stand across our range, great freestanding awning, true 270, as you've seen before, folds forward and all the way around the back of the car. Also on top of the canopy, we've got our Bundertop electric rooftop tent. It's got the 540 solar package we do for these on them. Awesome package, plenty of solar and an amazing tent, super easy to set up.
The solar packages on them bunda tops that we do at the 540 watts is killer. It's exactly what I've got on mine. In full sunlight, I'm doing 28, 29 amps input through the solar system, so it's unbelievable. Now, one thing I want to touch on, this vehicle is standard height, all right? We haven't lifted the vehicle at all. The front is 100% factory height. They run a 35-inch tyre with full clearance, no issues. Now, the rear of the vehicle, the only thing that we changed was we upgraded the rear leaf pack. So we split the leaf pack, add 2 more in, rebuild it, and put it back in again. So one thing with the US truck side of things is they're a big car to start off with. So to try and keep them usable and try and keep them at a suitable height, we try and advise customers, don't make the thing a monster truck, because all it's going to do is make it harder to try and use everything on the canopy and things like that. That's all. So remember, they are a big car. You don't need a 4-inch or a 6-inch lift in them, that's all. Try and make it practical and usable as much as you can. Now, there's a couple of little things that are different that you may have noticed on this canopy. It's got holes in each corner of it. Now, we'll get through to that section for you anyway, guys, so stay tuned. We'll head around to the other side and keep on rolling through. All right, guys, before we get into the canopy side of things, Brent, help me out, mate. I always struggle with this bit, honestly.
Yeah. So give us a like, hit that subscribe notification and ring the bell. Keep up to date with everything that we've got coming out for Core Off-Road.
And look, make sure you leave a comment, guys. If there's anything else you want to see, or if you're enjoying me and Brent teaming up to do the walk-arounds, leave a comment and make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Cheers, guys.
So this customer's gone with our GTU canopy with a few added extras. So on the side of the bunda top, this customer's added on our shower tent bracket. Shower tent is a must, especially when you're looking at a full liveaboard vehicle. So having somewhere where you can go to the toilet or have a shower, a little bit of privacy. Don't get me wrong, if you're in the bush and nobody around you, don't even bother folding it out. But if you're at a campsite, on the inside.
All right, so on the inside of the GTU, standard GTU driver's side drawers with the optional extra of the Engel fridge freezer. Now, this is a 30-litre fridge freezer. It can be used as a freezer as well as a fridge. Great option, nearly do them on all of our GTU canopies now. Also, we've got custom-made camp table storage on this model.
Now, a camp table is one of them things that is awkward to try and store. Having, you know, a 600mm by 600mm table that you've got to find somewhere for a home for it, it can be very awkward to try and store. So our new camp table storage system will be coming online within the next few weeks. You are going to be able to buy them, we'll ship them out to you, and they're going to be a universal fit that you can mount to a range of different canopies or items, that's all, whether it be a camper trailer. So keep an eye out on the Core Off-Road website for the new camp table storage. TV.
Also, TV storage for this customer.
So the customer's made a
little smart TV?
Yeah, a little custom bracket or stand that packs up that he's going to mount the TV on. Same sort of thing, it's quick, it's easy. Slide the items in. A couple of bungee straps just to hold them into place. It does make that storage side of things and the use of everything a hell of a lot easier, that's all. With any touring setup, especially as full liveaboard, everything needs to be quick and easier. The easier it is, the more you're going to go and use the thing. That's all. So there's a few extras in there in this one, isn't there?
There is a few extras in here. These are our lift-off leg custom designs,
yep,
which we'll show you later as we put them in and lift the canopy off. Custom-made box up there to house all them, to keep them up and out of the way. There's also a little storage compartment in under there. Got a 50 amp Ando up in there if he wants to run another fridge on top of the two he already has.
Yep.
Driver's side compartment, all your lights, switches, all that sort of stuff, more storage.
Hot water system, which is standard on across the GTU range. That's all. Our little magnetic swing out bracket with the quick connect gas fittings. And on this one, it's actually got quick connect hot and cold water fittings as well. So when your shower tent is deployed, you can go through your hot water system. We'll be sitting there. You can still gain access to it while you're standing in the shower to adjust the temperature, that's all.
All right, so with the US trucks as well, You do get a bit more length. The tray is 2350 and the canopy is 2050. With the tray being a bit longer, you get a decent sized front under tray box here. This one's just more storage, nice big area. Also at the back, as per a lot of other canopies, we got our fixed gas system for the GTU. So you got your gas bottle in there, all plumbed into a bayonet up underneath at the back there, all certified, passed.
All signed off.
Yep.
Moving around to the back, this arrangement on the back is a little bit different. Because this canopy does lift off, we needed to ensure that the customer had 2 spare tyres when he was a full setup travelling down the road, but he still needed to have 1 spare tyre if the canopy was off. So he's got 1 spare that is permanently mounted to the canopy, the other one stays in the factory position and fits up underneath the car. Now, any of you guys who are looking at an F-Truck, a standard 35-inch or a 35-inch tyre will fit in the standard hole underneath. That's all, so can't go any bigger, a 35 only just fits. Now, accessory-wise, on the back of this vehicle, it's vast. That's all. The customer's got a lot. So obviously, with the bunda top, the customer has gone our Nomad rear ladder, which, in all honesty, is bloody awesome. That's all. Having that Nomad rear ladder at the back with ease of access, that 15-degree angle, it does make a hell of a difference, especially the lighting side of things. It does make it very easy to get up and down. Underneath, this has got a few extras compared to what we would normally do. So the rear work light for the Nomad is a standard option along with the lighting inside, but this customer has 240-volt inlet as shore power on the back, plus there is also a special little plug here that we'll touch on a little bit later on what that actually does, plus a solar input. So because the vehicle is designed that everything comes off, it's a little bit different to what we would normally do. Fuel storage, now this customer's towing a boat behind him, so the 2 Rotopax cans on the back gives him a bit of extra fuel storage, that's all, and they are lockable and nice and easy to remove. On the Nomad, customers also added in the lift-up handle as well, so that he's got something to hang on to when they start to climb up the rear ladder. Now, at the back, Brent, you might be able to give us a bit of a rundown in the trundle drawer. Now, same thing, this isn't a standard trundle drawer on this one, is it?
No, so like Jimmy said, there's a lot of things that are different on this canopy because it is lift off. One of those things is the storage in the trundle drawer. So it does have our standard trundle drawer lid, but in the trundle drawer, it is decked out with all the legs and feet for the lift off system. Just somewhere where we can put them out of the way, safe. They're all got little bungee cords on, hold them in place, so they're not gonna rattle around, roll around, all that sort of thing. So he has lost most of the storage in his trundle drawer, but they did have to go somewhere.
So the water tap side of things on this particular vehicle is a little bit different to what we normally do on our GTU. Our standard GTU has the taps underneath the rear clip, so you can connect hot water system and all that kind of stuff. Up here, it's a little bit different to what we normally do, isn't it, Brent?
It is, it's completely different to what we normally do. Because it is a lift-off canopy, we needed to have water and everything work while the car wasn't there.
Yep.
So if the canopy's set up at camp and the bloke's gone out fishing for the day, morning and the missus wants a shower, she's got to have water and she's got to be able to use everything, the kitchen sink, the shower, all that sort of stuff while it's not there.
There's 2 tanks on this. So there's 1 tank in the canopy, which is 40 litres, and there's 1 tank underneath the tray, which is 120 litres. So that,
and 2 water pumps.
And 2 water pumps. So it's basically 2 separate systems, essentially, so that if the customer, I know this is what we spoke to him about, if he's out fishing for the day and one of his friends is back at camp or something like that and they want to be able to have a shower or brush their teeth, they needed water in the canopy as well, so they could go through and basically have the option to transfer from the vehicle to the canopy and make sure that there's water for the canopy while ever the vehicle's not there.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. If they are running short of water in the canopy, they can go and top the car up, come back and transfer it from the car to the canopy with just 1 line. Or if they are in a caravan park or somewhere where there's water, you can connect directly to mains as well and run it as if it was like your caravan as such,
Yeah.
and run it straight off mains.
Yep, and that's got a pressure reducing valve in it.
Yep.
Yep, so that if you do have high pressure, the PRV will limit the water pressure inside the canopy, that's all. Standard tap, so hot and cold side of things, so that if you've got your hot water system out and you want hot and cold water to your kitchen, you'll do your cold line and your hot line from your hot water system.
Same on this side, hot line, cold line. We do them in blue and red, so it's simple.
Simple, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
that
goes
feeds
straight
back
across.
to the kitchen.
Yep.
So as soon as you turn the tap on in your GTU kitchen, and as long as the water pump's on, the hot water system will automatically click in, and you'll get hot water will come from the instantaneous system up through here, down through the next line, and in through the kitchen. Now, there's still underneath here a normal gravity fed point, and like all of our canopies, we fill from the bottom. So that gravity fed tap, you'll basically, if you want to fill your water tank in the tray, plug the hose in, open the tap, and we fill the tank from the bottom, keep filling it until it comes out the breather. There's no way then you're going to get an airlock and you know the tank is 100% full. Brent, you've also got another one on your side.
Yeah, so we got a second tap just under here, like what we said. It's got the second pump, got a little switch under there as well.
Yep.
So you can turn that on. So like I said, if you're away and you want to be fishing, want to wash your hands or whatever, you still got a pump and water and everything like that.
Yeah. So the two separate systems is critical, that's all.
Yep.
Two separate tanks is critical, and with the customer being able to have 160 litres of water on board, pretty bloody good. So before we get into the good part of the canopy, where everything is on the passenger side, we'll run through the rest of underneath. Brent, what do we got on this side?
So yeah, normal under tray box. This one on this side has a secondary gas bottle. This one isn't plumbed in, it's just for storage in this one. With gas being in the under tray boxes, one thing you don't get is central locking. So neither of these back boxes have central locking to the car. Everything else on the canopy is central lock to the car.
Yep.
Just with the ignition side of it, being a gas storage, you can't have central locking on the back boxes
And
there.
they've got a vent as well.
They do, they have a 20mm hole in the lowest point of the box.
Now on this side, because the canopy is going to come off, this under tray box is a little bit different to what we normally do. So normally every one of our canopies has an ARB twin compressor mounted inside the canopy. Now, that was the type of thing, if the customer does have the canopy off and he's towing a boat or he's going Forbium with just the tray on the back, he still needs the option or be able to pump up his tyres. So 9-metre air hose reel mounted in the under tray box, along with the compressor, which is mounted up on the side here, and a little switch. So if you turn the ignition on, you can then come around, flick the switch on, get your compressor up and running. Same thing as Brent said on the other side before, with the US trucks and the extra length, you do get two massive front under tray boxes along with two big rear ones as well. So, canopy side of things.
Onto your favourite part, mate.
Yeah.
The passenger side of the canopy.
Yep. So this customer with US truck, we have the option to go to 140 litre upright fridge. Now, on the US vehicles, and a lot of our models now are starting to change to this new fridge surround, aren't they?
Yeah, so this is a new design fridge surround which does away with our panel that we used to have up the top there.
Yep.
And we put everything down the side of the fridge.
That-
Just a better utilisation of space, I think.
So that fridge surround, where we used to on our GTUs have a switch panel up the top, by changing that switch panel into the fridge, it basically, even on a standard canopy, say a dual cab, which is only 1700 or 1750 long, it gave the customer an extra 20 or 30 litres of storage space, which we now have a little cubby up the top. That little cubby up the top's awesome. Things like cereal, bread, pots and pans, I've got my chopping board and everything like that up there. It is a very useful little space.
Well, some of our customers have even put up to a carton of beer in there.
Yeah, we did one canopy, it had to be specifically made, that little storage area, to fit Great Northern 30 packs in. So the customer had the option then to slide, I think it was four 30 packs of Great Northern for when he's on longer trips out in the bush for just a week or so. You know, to have an extra 120 cans on hand just for when you need them, that's all.
Emergency's an emergency,
Emergency's an emergency, that's all. And there's heaps of water and beer as well, just in case you get stuck.
Just on this cubby, this customer's also got an amp up in there to run his stereo. Nice and accessible, so he can tune it if he needs to.
Yep.
Just, like I said, one of those things that you can put all sorts of different things up there.
Speakers in the door. Now this customer's upgraded to Morel.
Yep.
Morel speakers. Bit better quality. This customer loves his stereo system, so It's still got the standard Fusion BB100, so the black box 100 with the remote on the switch panel, but we've upgraded to an amp along with speakers as well. That's all, just to give it a bit more sound and a bit clearer and crisper, that's all.
Yep.
Same thing, this customer wanted a coffee machine as well, so it's got a little coffee machine.
Most of our customers these days want a coffee machine. It is amazing how many people opt for a coffee machine these days. With the lithium batteries and the inverters, you can do all this, and customers are just loving it.
Yeah, so you upgrade. So this customer's actually gone 400 amps of lithium.
Massive bank in this one.
So two BTEC, Enerdrive BTEC 200s in there, along with twin chargers, AC charger, and also inverter as well, have all been added or upgraded from the standard GTU, which comes with a 125 amp hour battery. Now, if you're looking to run coffee machine, 2 fridges, potentially 3 fridges, having that solar system that we touched on before on the bunda top's critical, isn't it?
Especially if you do have that bigger battery bank.
Yeah.
If you've got that bigger battery bank and you do run it down, you need to be able to get that back in quick.
Yeah, especially when you're camping, that's all. If you're not running the vehicle, or like this specific vehicle, if the car's not there, you don't actually have an option to charge from your alternator.
So it's got to be solar.
The solar system is critical for this style of setup, that's all.
And if you do run it down and you are connected to the car, the twin chargers, when it's driving, correct me if I'm wrong, we'll put in 80 amps.
80 amps, yep.
So that'll really top that bank up quick.
Yep, plus your solar.
Now the solar's on a separate system as well.
Yep, so that the solar, with the Enerdrive DC40s, they'll only allow you to select one channel. So if the vehicle's running, that DC to DC charger will pick whatever is most available. So if it can give 40 amps from alternator, it'll then isolate the solar system. So on bigger builds, it is an option, and a lot more customers are going to add the separate solar system. What it means is, whatever the car's running,
you can still charge solar.
You're still putting solar in. So you're doing 80 amps from the vehicle, plus 30 amps or 20
amps, 30 amps,
amps from your solar whilever you're driving. So it makes a massive difference, that's all. And if you've got a 400 amp lithium system.
Yeah, if you're only going from one site to another, an hour or something, it gives you that chance to charge that bank back up.
That's it. You know, you're talking a full 400 amp lithium system from empty to full within 4 or 5 hours. That's all, it's massive.
Yeah.
So it makes a huge difference. Standard drawers, I guess, on this side, like the rest of it, like the rest of our GTU, in behind these drawers is the electrical compartment where all of your chargers and everything like that are stored. Pop the drawer out to get into any of that gear in behind there. Our standard switching, along with twin USB outlet topography unit. That's all. Now, the topography unit's running off the tank in the tray. That's all. So you can monitor what it's doing on the tray side of things with the topography. The Enerdrive ePro, which is standard on every model, and also because this customer's added inverter, it's now got the inverter controller as well. Standard switching.
Yep. On your charging points, we've also got another little 12 volt cigarette outlet up here. That's for the customer's TV.
Yep.
So like we touched on the other side, he's got a TV with a stand he wants to put out wherever he wants to put it. He's got a bit of a longer cable, so he can run that TV wherever he wants.
It's a smart TV as well.
Yep.
So there's one thing you're going to need for a smart TV is you're going to need an internet connection. Out in the bush, that's a little bit difficult, isn't it?
It is.
Look, stay tuned. We'll touch on that very shortly about how we're planning on getting Netflix and using that smart TV in the middle of nowhere. That's all.
Something we've never done before.
No, it's something new, definitely, but it is something very cool.
It is.
Kitchen, our standard GTU kitchen. So on the lighting side of things, we've got our normal pantry lights and our table lights inside the kitchen, which is standard on every GTU model, along with a travel buddy.
Yep, little oven.
Yep. Standard.
I'm getting away from calling it a pie warmer now. It is actually an oven, and you can cook in it. If you want some ideas, Jimmy's got plenty of them. There are some videos around as well, if you have a look on our channel, of Jimmy doing some cooking segments in the travel buddy.
You don't get to look like this without being a good cook, I can tell you that much. So do check out the videos, and there is more of them coming. Cutlery, once again, it's like a camp table. It's a very difficult thing, cutlery, to try and store or have a home for it. over the years I've used, you know, the wrap that folds out and it all goes back, and it's a bit of a pain, to be honest. So one thing that is very cool with a GTU is having that cutlery drawer.
Yep.
That's all. And there is lights in there. So with the cutlery drawer, we normally go through, the customer gets 4 trays to set up, or 4 little dividers to set up however they want. I've done mine exactly the same as this, so spoons and teaspoons, then a section for knives and a section for forks. That then gives you a long section that allow you to fit your egg flipper and your tongs and all that kind of stuff.
All the long stuff, yep.
What do you got around on your side, mate?
So we got the second table around this side, which has your pop-out sink in it, and chopping board. So the chopping board sits in the cutout for the pop-out sink while you're traveling, comes out. Got your flick mixer, hot and cold water, like we touched on before, that comes straight from the canopies, straight from the instant hot water system. So yeah, perfect place, do your washing up, all that sort of stuff. Brilliant.
And even going back to heights. Now, this car, as we're filming at the moment, has 160 litres of water on board.
Correct.
But no gear inside the canopy. And even still at standard height, the tables are still quite high. So you could imagine doing this vehicle with a 4-inch lift, your table height is going to be 100 mil. Now,
And add 37-inch tyres.
you can't do a 4-inch lift on 35-inch tyres because the thing's going to look like it missed leg day.
Yep.
So if you're doing a 4-inch lift, you really, to make the car look half decent, you've got to run 37s on it, although it'll probably fit a 40 in there. Running 37s is then going to lift the car another inch again, so you're talking 125 mil higher than what this is now. That's all. I know that kind of car would look cool on Instagram and YouTube, and it'll probably be really cool, but as a touring vehicle,
Apparently size matters.
yeah, so they say anyway.
Who would have a 4-inch lift in 37s anyway?
Oh, look, mine's not quite 4 inches yet. It is high, and it is a little bit higher than the original 2.5-inch lift kit that I put in mine. But once again, with this being lift off,
We can lower it.
it's higher again on the vehicle. That's all because we have the subframe underneath the canopy. So you're basically carrying a subframe for the tray and a subframe for the canopy. So that does lift it even higher again. So it's just something to be mindful of, something that we normally talk to the customers about. That's all, and just say, look, the last thing we want is you to be on your ladder and trying to chop things up. That's all. So
Having a step that you got to carry around with you to step up and get to you.
that's right.
With this being lift off though, saying that, once it is off the car, you can lower it down
Yep,
to a usable height.
Yep, for sure. That's all. So it'll only be while ever the canopy's on.
Yep.
That's all. But it's just one thing to keep in mind. That's all. We want to make sure that when our customers leave here, they get the right setup that's suitable for them. And the main thing is it has to be easy to use. That's all. So we touched on before being able to run that smart TV while you're out in the bush. Right now, we have an option. Now, this vehicle is built in with a system to run one of Elon Musk's Starlink systems. So you basically have the dish, which is fully automated. It is then wired through the canopy to a weatherproof RJ45 outlet on the back. What this will then do is it'll auto track. Now, so we're still learning about these systems. We haven't actually used one yet. So all we've read, I think it's the rule of thumb is as long as you can see the sky, you can get 120 meg download from what we know of.
I think so.
I think so. That's all. Can't exactly tell you 100% how it goes in the bush. Maybe. If you guys, leave us a comment. That's all.
If you've used one or if you've got one and you're happy with it or you're not happy with it, drop a comment in below. Let us know so we can get some feedback on them.
That's all. They are, from everything we've seen, they're a pretty cool system. That's all. Having it nice and easy to set up and plug in and everything like that. This way, the customer can actually have their canopy closed. That's all, and all locked up. I don't know whether you'd leave that out while you're
Depends where you are, I suppose, but it's got a huge cable, so if you are parked under the shade or under the trees, you can take that for a walk.
Yep.
And stick it over out in the open somewhere.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
all.
like I said, I don't know how much you'd leave it out.
Yeah, you may want to pack it up before you leave your setup, that's all. But it's the same thing we say to customers with solar systems. It's human nature. If it's stinking hot, you're going to park in the shade. So we needed the option so the customer could take this, set it away from the vehicle if they were parked underneath the tree, they can use it. We did look at mounting it on the rooftop.
They do have vehicle-specific mounted ones, but once again, like I said, if you're parked under the shade, under the trees, as far as I know, we know, it's not as effective. Yeah, it needs to be direct line of sight. That's all, and it's the same with the solar system. So underneath the back here, there's also a solar input. So if you are parked up underneath a tree, you do have the option to still keep charging everything. Yeah,
but
run a blanket out.
Being able to be in the bush and watch Bathurst or anything like that, it would be awesome. And it's not just TV. It's obviously phone, messages, email, normal internet connection.
Whole lot.
The whole box and dice. But I know that there's even people who are using this at home.
Yeah.
As opposed to having a normal NBN connection. That's all. At 120 meg, I know it's a hell of a lot better than our NBN connection at home, that's all. So a hell of a lot faster. So the Starlink system, we may even be able to get the customer to give us some feedback and a few photos once he starts using it all on how it's going. But love to hear from you guys. School us up a bit.
Yeah,
let us know.
Tell us if we're wrong.
Yeah.
Correct us or give us your feedback for sure.
Yeah, let us know. It would be a really cool system to try and have integrated on a lot of vehicles that customers like this, where they're planning on living out of the vehicle on a permanent or semi-permanent basis to stay connected with the rest of the world, that's all.
And it is a big thing these days to still have internet, not just watch Netflix, but for all different reasons. Work or whatever it happens to be.
I'm a bit the opposite, that's all. When we go out into the bush, it's good to not have Wi-Fi and it's good to not have phone reception, that's all. So people don't ring you. But if you're on the road permanently, it definitely would be something that you need to consider, for sure.
So I'm gonna need one soon. Because Jimmy's going to let me work and travel at the same time. So as soon as we know how well this runs, I'll get one for myself. Yeah, and see how it all goes anyway. That's all. I don't want reception, so you can't ring me while I'm away, that's all. So look, Starlink system, guys, a bit of a run through anyway. Go from there. So, legends, this build video has been way too big for us to try and get everything into one video, and we don't want to bore yous and let you fall asleep, so we split it into two parts. Here is a sneak peek of part 2. So make sure you smash that subscribe button to get a notification when part 2 is about to drop. We'll see you on the next one. All right, now before we get into the canopy side of things, Brent, help me out, man. I always struggle with this bit. He's true, he does. So give us a like. That's going to be in the blooper reel for sure. All right. So it's a like is a like and a subscribe.
That's how you talk in Australia.
All right, let's go again.